So the designer's gotten a chance to watch some of these videos, and apparently my interpretation of the government decision card is incorrect, and he's intending it to just be to move a token. I think just a colony, not the Paradise City or the robot thing. That you own, that one of your companies owns. Given that I thought there was some really, really interesting interactions with this, and granted, it is really powerful. There's no question. But it's also, this is also very powerful. And the two kind of fight each other, as I've explained before. Those interactions are so interesting to me, and I've been playing with the assumption that, yeah, it's not just a matter of smuggling your own token and you can kick someone out. Now, honestly, you only kick someone out if you're going to take the token, right? Which may be too big an ability, but smuggling a token in is not generally. I would be playing very differently. So the guy who owns this would be much more liberal with their tokens because they know if they screwed one up, they can move it. That is absolutely still sort of the case, but they have this other more powerful capability that might be available to them by holding on to a token. And so holding that token has become, one of their strategic decisions. And again, this is very powerful too. So I wouldn't really write that one off. The ones that give you an extra, a bonus on the city essentially by putting an extra colony in of some sort or another, the robot factory with the Paradise City, they end up giving you a kind of they're more powerful if people aren't interlocking the way that we had here. So the blue and green player ended up running the same shit, and that has been a serious effect. The other thing is the disruption of knocking someone out of their good run. That doesn't necessarily it's not like losing, access to New York or whatever. Usually there are ways around it. First of all, you probably have other tokens on the board, but it can be very powerful, to take somebody out of something that's very important and central to their location and throw them somewhere else, and now they have to scramble. And I can see why that wasn't the desired effect, but again, I've been planning that all game. Everybody's been playing by that. I made this an incredibly important piece that everybody was willing to bid high on even. It increased the value of it based on that rules interpretation. And again, it's it kind of makes sense to me. The government says, no, you cannot be there. And just imposes its will. And it's the kind of drastic thing that I really I don't know, it just excites me, so it's hard for me to back away from it. We paid out the permits, and now green is going, and we've got an interesting one, the prototype hyperdrive. We probably want to do something with it, but what? If I run it, I'll I'll increase the potential range, right? Yeah, during a single run, I can avoid some doinkers. That's a very weak ability, I gotta say. Now, it's all trains on all companies. I just get to, affect everything. But this company doesn't have a train. So one of my quick thoughts is, hey, do I want to fire it off now, or can I get 10 more bucks, maybe cash it in for 30, whatever? Do I have to fire it off now? is really the question. So one of the things is the brown company goes earlier than the black company. And let's take a look of whether or not anyone else is going to be buying trains. Only green might, I think. Everyone else is full up and has 2 trains per company. Now, given that the brown company is going to be buying a train before the black company, that means I'm going to have to buy that 5 train, and I might as well get it over here. What will we get? We'll be getting 260s. Ugh. So this is the turn it has to be done, because all the 6s will come out. The other option is I could slow things down and just buy 1 train on here. I don't think that's wise. I'll not be producing enough money with my corporation. So I don't have to make the decision quite yet if I'm going to cash it in for 30 bucks. But I do have to make the decision if I'm going to run it. Does it do me anything? I doubt it, but we'll see. I'm not avoiding many doinkers. There's not any magical big run that I can hit. It might help you avoid the doinkers on the long routes. By the way, the designer has been saying he's thinking about getting rid of the doinks on the long routes to make the wraparound map work more. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm used to this. It's like with this, I've got one idea in mind, and it's hard for me to really process what the meaning would be for even my throw-off ideas that I come up with. But okay. I want the 5 train, and now I'm thinking, geez, I did pay out. However, what happens if I don't pay out, if I swallow instead? I didn't make a whole lot of money, 130 bucks. But I do have a couple of shares here. And the way the rules are in this game, and I think 21 Moon if I recall correctly, I can, even though I'm at train limit, I can buy the first 6 train, pump it so that I get the 2 6 trains. I get a 5 train that I'm paying a whole shitload for. I might be able to do it here too, but I can only drop 40%, which is worth 320. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sell a share anyway if nothing magical happens. I guess I could juggle trains. Maybe. Especially if I buy 2 here. But I came pretty close at selling it at 165, which is the cost it would be at. But what about at 130? Yeah, that's the question. So that would be 130 times 2, because I could dump this share, this certificate. So I would get 260 for that. Another 130 puts it to 390, 490, 5 something minus 26. So I'm going to reroute and see if a swallow works. I enrolled all the money. The reason this is a big deal is I get to knock out everybody else's 3 trains if I buy the 6 now. And I get the 2 6s, which is going to be cheaper. Of course, I'm counting on a 6 and a 5 then, but I may be the only person with 2 choo-choos, unless somebody takes the big bite to get up to one of these. Somebody's going to have to, right? Nope. Wait. What kills this? Oh no, somebody has to take the bite to get to the T8s. That's almost a certain. But it's the T10 that there are quite a few T8s in the line. So I don't think that's gonna be still a difficult call. So let's see what we have, because this may be one of the times when it's worth that swallow. So I have 250 250 and 260. That sounds like it's enough. So we'll go with the swallow instead. I will sell this. It's only one certificate, so it only goes down one space. I get 260 bucks, 250 and 260. Says I get a choo-choo and 10 bucks in my pocket. Now I have wiped out my capability of getting track laying money. Could be a big problem. On the other hand, maybe I'm set up well enough. This dies as I buy the first 6, along with all the other 3s, and that opens up nothing. The matter is, this may not be, I may not be buying a 6 train, selling a share or whatever. This might be a lot uglier than it looks, because there's a lot of people with 4 trains who, if they can get a 6, probably want to. And then that opens up to crushing the 4 trains and leaving a lot of companies in the open. So this was a really powerful move, I think. More powerful position. I upgrade this space because still no damn wide curve open. Nobody's gonna fucking open it up either, right? Well, maybe once this is gone. I'm not sure. I really don't know. It serves a lot less, it's a lot less interesting with this here. So the 2 of them could have worked together to do it. But green didn't really want it at that point. They were running a 3 train. So they did exactly what they wanted to do. Okay. So we're running for 180. I do not have to swallow. And I can still buy the first T, or the last T6. That will actually kill all the permits. So, what do I want to do under my rules? Otherwise, you know, I would have the capability to throw this down here or something under the rules as the designer intended them. But again, I've been playing it with a certain feeling underway. I could just sell this and grab some cash. Yeah, 30 bucks at this point in the game is not worth that much. I could dislodge green and they will not be able to get back there, which I think is my appealing shot, because then I get pink in there and I work together to get rid of one of the curves and set it up. Boom, we're great. Everything sounds fantastic. So, where do I want to send that green piece? I mean, obviously, I could just send it out here and then, you know, he's in the screwed space, or down here, which is really a screwed space. Yeah. I'll fling him over there. That's opening up a space for my pink, so that's worthwhile. Now again, this is not what the intention was, but I like it. I like how cruel it is, and the first time I played, I was like, "Whoa, that's super powered." No, that's going to go for a decent bid, because that lets you knock someone out and grab an important space. How important a space is that to green? Well, honestly, it's not that important. This is their important space. I'm not hurting them by taking them out of that. They still have a couple of tokens, so they can get in control here. This is just kind of out there in the middle of nowhere now, doing nothing. Really. Another option would be to place it someplace like here and improve, you know, my valuation of that. But I would rather keep that open for pink. You know, I think throwing them out in the middle of nowhere is the better idea. So I was not going to swallow, and I'll just leave the video off at this point. Now I still need to raise money to get capital. At 165, that means this will be 330 bucks if I drop this, which seems like a good idea. That only drops at one space, and that gets me 25, 30, 300. I buy the last 6, and that wipes out all the company, all the remaining permits. That's a big hit. This one, neutralized. Wow. This one, hey, you know, I should have sold it for the 30 bucks. I wasn't thinking very carefully. But at the end of this guy's turn, I was beginning to think, wow, I may not get a run off that. This one's a big deal. He could have really gotten some boost off of it. But, you know, that green to brown transition happened fairly quickly, but I could have pumped up to gray or something like that. These guys, hey, you know, no great loss. They're not that important. But we did do some serious damage to other players' position. And now I have to kind of search here because, hey, this is kind of tricky, but it's going to be yellow next. Things have developed on the track. Yellow is not in as good a position as I first thought. I thought they'd be running between the robot factory and the tourism, and I mean, they may be. If I could get that wide curve. Oh no, I only need a straight there. Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Wow, why hasn't that happened before? Maybe this upgraded recently, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's interesting. That's the difficulty for me in understanding the board. And it's one of the reasons why that outer frame doesn't bother me so much, because the doinkers mean that, you know, you're going to be working real hard to look for shit when you're looking to go through a doinker to get to where you want to go. But for the kind of common case where things are close together, that's why I like that kind of inner frame, sort of a big cross holding these pieces in place, and just showing the connections real clearly, as opposed to this. And I think I would tighten things up because the circle takes up a lot of space in the middle. Okay. So yeah, that sounds appealing. Basically what I was looking at is, I was thinking about putting a dot here because, hey, it's already developed. There's another brown here, but I'd have to go through the damn doinker. And what right now, but more than that, these don't upgrade. This is the tile that would replace it. It's the same connections. The grays for the UU type, or CCs, or whatever you want to call them, type tiles only maintain the same track placements that the browns had, and there isn't like a trick where one of them will replace another or anything like that. So that's a little weird, because most of the gray track adds more functionality to the board. I'm not sure, you know, there's not a lot of room for extra tracks. I'm coming out all 6 spaces here. The only thing you could do is which would wreck some roots. Yeah. With a swallow, this sucks. I pull in, I'm at 22 a share, so I could pull 220 bucks in. I have, let me make sure I've got the calculations right. 220 plus 265. Shit. Old calculator. Okay. Well, that ain't right. There we go. 485. That sounds like I'm getting close, right? Except for a problem. This is 700. I'm going to need 215 bucks, and I am clearly not going to hit there. I'm going to, if I stayed at the same stock value, I'd be at 210. I could actually sell them before my turn at that stock value, and that's what I should have done for the other guy who swallowed instead of doing it when the train happened. And I'm $5 short. I got a buck here I didn't count for. I am $4 short. Now, under my first misinterpretation of the rules that I played my last game with, that's fine. You know, it's a small amount. I got cash on hand, no harm. And if I didn't have the cash on hand, I could definitely, you know, cash in a share for it. This kind of sucks. This is the situation that I kind of thought was, oh, that's cool. I don't have to deal with that. I think it just means I run, you know. and hope for the best. Maybe there'll be an 8 available next run. And, you know, I mean, if there's not, I'm screwed, right? And, you know, I mean, I ran a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And maybe by not hitting this, I could have hit this. I don't think that is worth it. 30, 40, 40 now. If I took that away, maybe I could have inched it out a little bit. Screw it. I think the chances are that I'm going to have a shot at that 8 train. I made some stock value. That's cool. We should be able to buy it next time. Okay, now we're actually on the red one. It is not beaten out by any of those. What is the red one up to? Well, I'm going to try to see again if I can sleaze myself another train, because running a 4 is, I want one of these 8s. The 10 is another $150. Again, it's not that big a hit. It's not that big a hit, and it might be a significantly better train, but it is a hit. And the game does not run long, is my impression. Although the stock values are looking a lot lower than when I came into here in my last game for whatever reason. The way the trains fell and everything. It was less intense this time, I think, to begin with, but it's getting tighter in terms of, well, it's getting to the position where maybe the long game is available. Idiot with yellow. Let's play a token. We're going to play an M down here. Purple hasn't played its M yet. Let's play an M there. Just to kind of ensure that we have this. Our other company's black. It may not be it probably won't be running down that way. It'll probably be heading that way. Similar calculations with red, who also ended up with a 22 run, by the way. Slightly different upgrade here, because purple's going to run through that too, and what the hell. What did I find? Well, yeah. The thinking, and again, just a little connections would help a lot with that for me. So I don't think yellow could have made it by not building track, because I looked at red, and not building track meant like a $20 decrease in terms of run. Well, I only spent $10. I swallowed, you know. I was counting a swallowing on this. So we're just kind of oozing by with the best train that we have and hoping to be able to make it through. He's a little further behind, as you can see. I got $100 here, so he's about $60 ahead, which is a big deal. Given that they're making the same runs, they're on the same stock value, etc. On to De Brown, who needs a train. Starting a company late in an XX game, and it's really showing here, is you gotta break into stuff. And some of them, it's like, you know, in 1830, the Erie's off on its own. And some of them, somebody builds track to you. And then we kind of had with the purple, that track's kind of set up. It wasn't, if I recall correctly, it wasn't hard to jump to. Same thing with pink, it wasn't hard to jump in there. Brown and black, and I forgot to flip them over, are in troublesome positions. And again, you know, this happens in some games where, even in 1830, you know, the Erie has to build all its track. Well, if nobody goes up there, the Erie has to build all its track, and it could be kind of painful to build all those loops and everything that you need to be able to get, or to break into stuff. But it's got some good stuff to run to. Here, I mean, I can hook into here and it's kind of crap, or I can run up to there and it's kind of crap. There's just nothing that's really appealing. I'd love to break into this. I think what I'm going to do is a wide curve that gives me the option to curve into here. That's almost impossible. You know, somebody could lay track that makes it hard for me to get in there, but assuming there's a green tile available, and not many of them have been, none of them have been used, then I can probably get that sharp hook to get me in there. I think there may even be the hideous track. the reverse of this, sort of. No, there's this, which is pretty damn horrible, but not the wide curve with the hook going in the other direction. Fortunately for me, there's no wide curves available, and if one becomes available, it'll probably get eaten. So I think I'm safe with that. What I'd really like to do is just jump into here and get this little run going as quickly as possible, and everything else, you know, can build from there. I don't even need to hit this. I could dot here if maybe, and all kind of shit like that, which is more appealing than being out here. Another option is, even if I do get cut off there, I might be able to hit a hex that gets me into there. That's the cross border problem, and I don't like that if I can avoid it. Ooh, I actually would not be able to drop a dot here because my track would be going the wrong way. Fuckers. But I could upgrade something here and put a dot down here, so, well, somewhere. You know, we'll see. Beginning of my turn, so I don't lose stock value. And again, he probably screwed himself over with his swallow. Should have a few more bucks in there. I need to sell shares to get, I mean, conceivably, I could buy one of these. Again, the wording of even the enforced sales is a little weird. That's been updated, I think, so that you can't pay. You could buy a train from another company without any cash on your company, but only if it's $1. I think there's some weird wording that basically has resolved to that. I don't have that problem. If I want to buy the 5 or the 6, and I may well, rather than dump this stock. Is there some huge reason I want to pump the 8 trains out? I don't really need one here. This is going to be making money. It has lots of shares in it. I'm going to pay a fortune for a 5 train. That is going to hurt the green company's chances, temporarily at least, in terms of making money. But that gets me a wad of money over here, 450, so that some sort of swallow should get me up there. What was my swallow at? I was at 13 before. I should be higher now. 455. Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Maybe I should sell some shares. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think I may look to a couple of swallows with this to try to get another train into play. This guy will be eventually able to make a train, but if that's the case, I shouldn't be throwing all my cash into the green company. But the green company is set up with the track right now, and that's kind of the thing. Although I did get dumped out of where I want it to be and can't go back, even if I could figure out a way. I'll go with this. I'm not excited about this plan. I think that I've just created a hell for myself, but we'll see. And that sends him back. That means black, who is the other company that hasn't yet gone. I got to think a little bit about that track. Because, yeah, I can break in here nice and easy, but maybe I want to go in there instead. I don't know. What do we got for brown? That could be this, which is heading that way, which works pretty well. And I can probably break in next time. So since there aren't a lot of these, and I probably want to do that, let's go there. Before my turn, I do the stock sales. I don't think that way. Again, I could juggle trains. Try to get that 5 into the black company instead of the T4. Shit. Because otherwise I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a 6 train. This cannot link up. That was set up in a dicky way that doesn't allow access that way. And I don't have a 6 train available. A 6 train would do me good. There are other options though, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Or, of course, there's the T3 magic, which could get me, I don't know, something like 1, 2, 3 or something. I don't know. Gosh. Because the D3 is pretty damn potent. I'm not necessarily looking at, oh, I need an 8 train. The problem for brown is the D3 doesn't even look all that valuable to begin with. I'm hitting one good city, and then this is so-so. What you really want is a tight pack of dense tokens to run. And I just don't see that happening, although it would be possible running around. I don't know. God. Yeah, trying to figure out the route choices is hard here, and trying to figure out the train while I figure that out. You know, I mean, do I want the D3 on the black? Do I want the big train on the yellow? Does that make more sense? Yellow can really rack it in with the D3. So that would be 1, 2, and then some other place, you know, up here or whatever with the D3. Which may mean that I want to fist over a bunch of cash for that T5 rather than sell all these shares. Okay. Where's the other 20% share? Oh, I dumped it up there already. 800 and some. Alrighty. Problem with that doesn't leave me any money to build a train, to build track. I think I have the same problem here. Let me reverse that as well, because I don't want to have to sell a share to buy track. I only have to do it once because I have shares in the company. So let's put that there. Let's leave an extra buck. And, well, we don't have an extra buck to play around with there. Okay. So we'll just reverse those, and now we're going to be on purple, and I have to swap batteries. When I played, I didn't have this kind of trouble breaking in, getting the trains connected either. So, that added to my pleasure, is not having those kind of, what the fuck do I do? But it's, I think, a natural outgrowth. I think it will happen fairly often where you're going to have trouble connecting your companies up. The reason before was because players connected up to the company they wanted to buy. And that made the company less attractive to other players, and they were all set up well. This time that didn't happen. Oh, red and purple, what the hell are you doing? A hideous situation. This player has 2 4 trains. The train that kills them is coming up, and somebody's sitting here who's going to buy it. So I have got to buy the 4 train before the yellow. Red does not go before yellow. Unless I have a forced purchase. And so, yeah. So I think purple has to buy it if they can physically manage it in any way. But that kills red. Again, something I didn't foresee. We may see a bankruptcy on this one. The escape hatch, the bankrupt company space, is that available to me? And certainly not with red. They're way too far out. But purple, if I sell 3 shares, 2 shares, Gets me to here. I drop back 1. An enforced purchase might force me to dump those purple shares, but I don't know if that really helps me. I mean, I could get some cash into my company. I could maybe crash purple, but let's see if we can, let's not worry about that. Let's see if we can buy the first 8 train. And if that doesn't work, you know, if things don't work out from there, then we can buy it from the purple company and try to demolish the purple company. And if we do it absolutely right, we can just back the purple company into the bankruptcy space. But we're too far from it for that to be an easy option. It might involve swallows and all kind of stuff with red and trading a train back and forth and all kind of stupid shit that I don't want to do. I think I can do it. I lay this track. I could have laid this, gotten a little bit more money. An extra 10 bucks, I think, but whatever. I'll run here 1, 2, 3, 4 now that that's set up. But before I do that, I need to sell both of these shares. And luckily there's room for it. I didn't check that. I've got to do it in order because it's during my operating round. So I have to sell the 20% first to get the most money. That's 140 bucks. 195 bucks going in here. That gives me 200. I hope I did this right because I'm doing it live. I don't usually do that, but okay. Now I make my run and say 14 on there. What the hell's up with that? I swear I counted it. 4, 7, 7 and 9 is 16. And 7 is 23. So we go up there. That's 230. 230. 200. This doesn't look, unless I have 20 bucks extra. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 700 bucks. I buy the first of the 8 trains, which kills the 4s, and somebody cheated and put gray track out. I'm just going to leave it there. I can't unwind it. I'm so used to gray track on the 6s, even the visual doesn't help me, does it? Yeah, no gray track on the 6s. Fuck me. But, you know, somebody made a couple extra bucks. A few people did. I don't care. I'm going to make that mistake in every damn game that moves the gray track onto the 8s. This is not the first time it's happened. And once that decision was made, you know, it's like my brain ossifies. So that killed the 4s. That puts a number of people into weaker positions. They're not going to have those fantastic runs. It brought the 8 out here, but it's putting red into the... Yep, what now? Well, on the bright side, we got our run. We dropped down to 45 a share. We are actually in the range that maybe we can demolish it. But that's, you know, 4 shares that I paid 360 bucks for that I'd be flushing down the toilet. Shit. I gotta think. I'm jumping too far back if I put the red M here. I can't do that. And purple does not want to block red. And we got problems. Well, we don't know what red's going to run. Does purple know that they want to run a big train? No. Because they can run 1, 2, 3 doubled. That's pretty sweet. Their other option is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 broken up. You know, yeah, screw it. Or heading down this way, you know. But I think the 3D is fine. So we'll sit there with that. And that puts us to the last company of all, Pink, who has a train for now. You can see, though, where sort of the natural progression is these 2 companies each get a T8. There is one more T8 available. So that if somebody went to 2 trains, and there may be somebody who can, and this guy was aiming for it. I don't see anybody else who's sitting on a hoard of money. This guy's got a pile of stock, which could be valuable, as does he, which doesn't look as valuable in him. But that T8 is an extra train. Somebody is going to be running 2 trains to have that. If you want to get to the T10, you got to get 2 people to extra trains. Now, I'm not saying that's not possible. I had it happen in my last game where the 10s came out. But it is an iffy thing. Oh shit, Pink's short. They only have $5. That means I can't lay track. Unless I sell a show. Which is a lot of money to pay for hooking this up and getting a little bit more money. Which means I guess I just run up this way, which is fine. Eventually I'll have this hooked up. There's nobody who's messing with this as far as I can see. Tokens are free. I'll drop one down here. That'll increase my rate next turn. Blue can play in there, so if I do need this, which I believe I do, we'll end up seeing that build up properly. Oh, what are we looking at? We are looking at, well, this is the end of the round. I've flipped everybody over. There's not going to be a payout for permits this next time. And yeah, I have been very cautious with my tokens all game. Last time, and this may be why the trains came a little harder or whatever, tokens got played a little bit more. This time, people are, a little shy of putting their tokens down because they don't know that those territories will improve or something. I don't know. I learned it's developed as a very different game from the last time I played it. I liked what I was seeing last time better, and I'm not sure that I learned good lessons. Like, I don't think this is going as well for anyone. I think the shyness, I think that kind of gun-shy feeling, and that I'm afraid to play something because somebody will counter my move with something else, has really gotten me tied up in knots that it shouldn't have. That people are making unwise decisions. Where am I sitting for money? Well, the person with the biggest pile of money right now is him. The person with the best train situation, who is that? Well, it's not him. I don't know. He's got a big pile of money. He's going to have the 8. It's not him. And he has been very cautious with everything. But also started a company. This is the guy who started the weak company that did the least money. These two had a synergy going that helped both of them. And we didn't see the same kind of synergy build between the yellow and red. And that certainly hurt them. But, well, we'll keep looking. There's still a fair amount of money in the bank. Probably about half the bank is there. So we're not going to see a crash that way. Stock value, we're still a fair way from the end of game there. Haven't seen a lot of the double payouts. Whenever anybody started getting double trains in the mid game, they just got wiped out. So, yeah. Unfortunately, the last couple days, I've been too sick to play, and I'm a little lost right now. COVID resurgence, or just an illness that shows a lot of matching to my prior instances, and it really does match. I mean, it's that sort of slow ramp up each case. Each time it comes back a little worse again. I was free for quite a few months, and now I don't, again, whatever. So starting second operating round, I guess we're on blue here. Going first by value. No secret there. And I don't know what to say. I'll try to figure out what I've got. I've got a 6 train, not a lot of cash. Don't know what plans were, but it doesn't look like I have anything big set up to get me the 8 train. I gotta worry. It's a non-permanent train on one of his companies, the pink one. But a lot of people are in that condition. We are gonna see another hit here, but I don't see any forcing the 10s out. So we'll see where we end up. There's some cash here that might be important, but it doesn't look too important unless he can swallow and get a big train. And then he's threatening one of his companies, but he'd have an extra permanent train to switch over. So, okay, another gap over here, but he's got the cash, but that's not an issue. I'm counting how many trains are going to come out. So we're going to see 2 of these 8 trains definitely come out, maybe a third one. And if that third one comes out, that puts us in the position where the 10 might happen. And again, last time I played, we had a particularly chaotic endgame period where somebody ended up with 3 companies. I don't even remember if it was entirely intentional. I think they took over a company and were in a position of a great deal of power and control. And we were able to force a 10 train out. But I think, if we look at this, what we're looking at is we got 2 of those 8s that are guaranteed to come out, or almost, yeah, they're guaranteed to come out. That leaves 1 more space. There's only really enough buying power and oomph for 1 more, maybe. Maybe the money here combined with these shares, or maybe those shares there. But it might be difficult to get that extra train out. And then, even if that's out, then it's an even bigger hit to go buy this other one. On the other hand, it's only $8.50, which means it's not that big a hammer, but it's also not as unreachable as it is in some games, which makes sense because this game is in general shorter. So, the $1,100 or whatever, $1,000 for the, I think in 1870 for the big train, it may not be as unreachable as those levels are. We'll see. And yes, I'm playing too much detail here, but I want to get kind of into the flow. So upgraded track and paid out 30 a share, running through all kind of good things. I am going to drop this token here because this route is important to me. It may not be my long, ultimate route, but it's pretty damn good, and I'm sharing it with Pink. This is my only worry, that Pink gets cut out there, but why are they not already in there is my question. I think Pink fucked up and should have laid a token here. No, they don't need it, because I can run up this way with my little run. So I'm not as wedded to going through this space as Blue is. So I think it's okay that they haven't chosen to play one there. In particular, Green can't play there. But now that means either yellow doesn't have the right piece, red, purple. These colors could drop a piece in there. They don't have the C to go in here though, so they may not be that interested. It's kind of weird the way the tracks work here with these specific types of tokens and limitations there. We're seeing that factor emerging. Where you really do, and again, it's got to do with the cooperation between companies. Where 2 companies are laying the same kind of shit down, they can really get not just the same run as they normally could, but can cut people out of their run by the type of tokens that they're placing. Just something to keep in mind. Anyway, we'll move on to Green. It's the exact same run as Blue does. It's a $300 run. I got $400 in my pocket. No shares, which is going to be a problem going forward because I don't have a whole lot of cash for laying track upgrades. And I can up that from a $300, I can turn that into a gray or something. But I got enough money to buy me one of those, and that 3D portion is very, very powerful. So yes, I'm going to take a swallow and do so. Yellow's turn kind of disjointed. First thing I did, went back, bought my train. Those are the things I know I want to do. But I can refigure, because I definitely want to do those things. I want them set aside, so I fixed them in place, even though I'm kind of doing things out of order here. So the question then is, what do I do with yellow? because I've got a token left and I got a couple places I might want to put it. Either up here or down here are the two places I'm really looking at. And why? Well, the 3D train that I've got would run between these, and it could run at, I think 44 is what I came to. 70, well, call that 90, and 90 is 180. This is not too far in the future, right? 90 is 180, and 60, which puts it up to 24. So that could be a 48 run. That's pretty damn good. Now, if I count the 8 train instead, I'm looking here, again, we'll count this as 90, and 90 is 180, but we'll look at these. 210, 230, 270. Yeah, I could upgrade it, but this is more likely to be upgraded. 270, because I'm going to need to. 300, cut through here. 300, and bring that to 34. That's a 7, and then 36. 37 down to here. So very clearly in the near future, I'm going to be able to do much better with the 3D train, and I don't know how much longer the game's going to go. That 48 sounds pretty damn good. Do I want to drop my token yet? You know, I could get this as high as that, up to a gray. So I'm going to withhold playing my token. I'm also going to withhold laying track, hoping other upgrades happen that benefit me rather than spending some of my cash. Yes, I have a share here, but I'm probably going to eat that and have a pretty good setup there. I picked up my T8 going back. I'm going to call that it for yellow. Now we go to red, who's also crashed. And I'll take a look at what their situation is. But either direction I want to go, upgrading this doesn't hurt me, so I'm going to spend the 10 bucks on that, because this might be appealing as an endpoint if it fills up, and it might be more valuable than this. But if I do want to go this way, I want the extra cash for that. So instead of building the track for that direction, I'm going to upgrade this and get that so that it's more valuable than this may be. You know, I may be the only one who has a dot there anyway, so who cares? Red's turn a little bit here. To do things in the right order, I'm going to sell this before I run, which is going to get me 230 bucks, and then I fail to run. I have 480 bucks in my company treasury, and my stock value is plummeted. That's obviously not enough to buy the train, but I gotta buy it, and I can't just juggle this. There's not enough money in here, and there's no more stocks left to play with. So, we'll just push that over to here, and I will come up with the 700 bucks. That may involve selling some shares. Like 23 bucks short. What's the shittiest thing I could sell? Well, among other options, blue and green have already run. I want to hold the green share. That looks pretty rich. So I will dump the blue share for 165 bucks in my cash and be able to buy the train. Then I'll figure out if I wanted to lay track, that'll cost me out of my pocket because I could have done that beforehand, but I'll figure out what I want to do with the trains that I have. We are flush up against the TED train now. If anybody like Black has the capability to buy it, and they have the share, they have a bunch of shares, but not a bunch of share value. So it may take a long time, more than the game is there for them to build up. Same thing with Brown. These two players may be in a position where, you know, one of them gets lucky, can take a swallow and do it, and the other one takes a hit for a few $100. But again, it's not going to be enough to bankrupt a player. I have decided not to pay any more of my cash into setting up track, because the piece of track that I would upgrade is this one, and my figuring is yellow's got cash in their company, They've still got stock in their company. They're the ones responsible for doing it. And it'll happen probably before my next time around. And I've got that same rich 48 run with a 3D there. So we have just gotten nothing of interest. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Remember, I cheated on laying this gray track for whatever it matters. It's the only one that's been laid, so now that we get the 3Ds out, it would have been legal. And that puts us on to pink, it looks like. I'm confused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somehow pink ended up pushing its way up to 31 a share on that. I guess the upgrades have helped enough. But it's actually making more than blue made with its 6 train. That kind of makes sense. Blue was running into kind of crappy territory, actually. So that's okay. I dropped the dot because this is a nice run. Up to here right now. Could upgrade to there. I'm out of tokens. I'm completely aligned on that nice track. And not pulling in a lot of money, although I pulled some stock position, which is really valuable because that's 300 more bucks, which means it's possible that it's possible that that T10 is within not too distant range from this company with the cash that it's pulling in. That's we'll see how that aligns with some of these others that have more stocks in their hands and have a runnable train. I'm running on the rich track though, which I don't think either brown or black is going to be doing anytime soon. I was able to kick itself up to 15 a share running down to here before the dot was there. I placed that dot. I'm not sure I don't think I'm going to use that dot, to tell you the truth. There's a good chance I may be running, right now I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's my terminus. It doesn't have to be. I could run through here instead if niceness happened up there. But I don't think niceness can happen. Let's take a look at the brown track here. And that could not be there. Wow, that's a weird track. That's not at all what I expected. These guys are going to close it up. This one has no wide curve, no wide curve. No. So there's no track that can get me down to there. Yep, the Browns are really limited in this game. But there is the possibility that I could break through here. And what I really want is something that's definitely not in the game, which is disjointed here and then down to that, I think. Or straight. Either way, it has to be, something that is coming from one of these two connections to this. It might be possible that there's a break-in that would get me down to this sweet stuff down there. And if I could do that, well, then maybe I could do something interesting. Oh, I don't know though. A 4D, if it ends up a 4D, it would be something running like here to be really rich. But again, I can't really conceptualize the map well enough to be sure what I'd be able to do, what I wouldn't. So I'm placing there because that's going to make me money right now. And then in the future, it might end up being something different from that. What I can't do is I can't break into this, and I'm already down to this. I'm not going to be able to break that except maybe this direction. There's a lot of, wow, maybe there's a way, because if I've got a dot down here somewhere, then I could run through this doink or through the doink the long way. Either way, I might be able to get a better train running than I can otherwise. So it's giving me kind of a weird balanced position. At 15 a share, this is the first time Brown's made any money. And, I'm definitely lagging behind pink, but I have more shares. That puts me to black. Options suck. So what I really want to do is hit some of the goodies, right? They're out of my range right now.
if I could wide curve here, but there is no piece anywhere in this game. Although there's the bow and arrow, there's no double curve crossing. That could get me down into here, and I wouldn't have a run even if it existed. Note, going this way, that puts me off to here instead of down. I may have confused things a little there. So then I look to, oh, well, if I upgrade this, I actually connect to that. Okay. Well, there's a problem. This piece will get me in there. That's fine. This piece, though, will not. I would have to curve up and connect to it to get my dot in there. All I've got is 2 dot spaces because all the 3 dot browns have been used up. I could upgrade to the 2 dot brown in the hope of getting something like this into play next time. On the other hand, you know, if I do that, I'm letting other people have first grab at it. Notably purple, maybe, they have an M. They could go in there, and that's it. But there also is a 2 dot gray, which one of these people could upgrade just to prevent me from getting in. I don't think I have any option. I think I have to upgrade that, and I paid my money already to build a track. I had exactly $10 to do so. At least that gets me a run. The only other options to get me a run would be to curve into something like this, which would make me more money. But I don't think, I looked at the browns, I don't think it'll get me in there ever. So let's build for something that might actually work. We might set this up so that we hit these, but right now I want to get a decent run, not a pile of shit little crappy run for the rest of the game. The only M dot out there is purples. Nobody else is going to be grabbing the dot by playing a gray tile here. The worry, though, is that blue or brown may decide to cut me out of the goodies. On the other hand, that may be okay because they may prefer me to have my dot there. That increases the value of something they're using. So again, it depends on whether they want to cut the board or make better profits, and the question of, you know, how they feel this player, his holdings are in comparison to theirs. If they're doing better than him, letting him in helps both of us, and granted it helps the black-yellow player a lot more, but if they're in last place, they're obviously not in last place. This guy is obviously in last place. But if the competition is, say, between these two, honestly, it looks like this guy's just running away with the game, though. And what's the reason for that? The reason for that may be maybe this government decision card being played to boot the green out of a valuable location. I don't think so, though, because green can still reach up here. So, because I can see their T3 will run maybe there or there or whatever, and the T and the regular, I'm sorry, the 3D will run down there, and the T6 will run elsewhere. Of course, they've got the 2 trains, so they're in a different position at this point. But I don't feel like they've been particularly cut off so far. This is the point where the cutoff starts to happen. What tile was it taken from? I believe it was taken from here. They got booted out of there. That gave room for pink, which is going to make pink do better, which definitely helps blue a lot. But I think that's just beginning to sort of start showing up at this point. An important part of the game, so I don't feel too bad about dragging out and giving you the play-by-play as much. So that ran for 8 a share. This little doink here, and you know, obviously enough money to keep, you know, building track and stuff, but not enough to be heading me towards that 10 train, which it looks to me like out of the people who could get there. This has the possibility of a swallow. It also has the possibility of brown catching up to the other runs. The other T5 which could do it is over here at pink, who has all the track advantages and everything right now. But this big swallow in conjunction with larger shareholdings of something that does have room to develop in a way that black kind of is stymied right now may mean that green-brown can manage to swing the big train before pink just kind of accumulates into a position where they can. I think we're going to see it, but who knows? You know, there aren't that many more turns there. There's a lot of cash in there, but it could run out pretty fast. The big runs, 46 a share on purple, running the 3D just right up here. Paid 10 bucks for that upgrade. I got one more track upgrade. I got 2 dots. The dots, well, this could become more valuable than this eventually. So I'll probably upgrade that and drop a dot in there. Red, yellow. Green can't come back here. They've got to go this way. So I am not seeing anyone else being able to get up there, so I don't have to expend my dot yet, although I don't know. And in fact, if I play my dot, it still doesn't really help me. The only way I'm going to get help out of this dot is if something comes out of here, which is totally valueless. This and this and this all connect to this space. So there's only one track coming out of that whole conglomerate there. Although, you know, we could do something like that or something, which if it weren't for this, you know, these are the goodies though, so that's what we want to hit. And other than that, I mean, I'm just not seeing any growth for purple. They could come down this way, but that doesn't really help. There could be something that opens up, but right now, yeah, the only reason to put my dot there is if this turns gray and 2 more people have dots in there. Otherwise, I think I'm fixed at my 46 a share. If all that happens, it goes up to 48, and that's sweet. And red has a dot, so I might want to coordinate with the possibility of them putting a T in there, but I don't know. And that is the end of the operating round. I'm gonna jump through the stock round and then I think load this up because I have no idea how long this video is anymore, but I know I've babbled more than I normally would on it. First player, yellow and black. Well, I got some interesting position here. There's 20% black in there, but I'm at 2, 4, 5, 6 certificates. I got room for 4 more certificates and enough money for like 2. So I don't think I'm really aiming for getting those 20% certificates if they're not particularly valuable. So the black's not interesting to me. The yellow might be, but in a sense that's in reserve. Nobody else dares buy that. They might buy it just to sell it, you know, in a single stock round, just to make sure that I don't collect cash off of it. But holding 20% of, you know, a company that somebody has another company in at this point in the game, I mean, I don't know. How much value would black be with all those trains? So somebody may steal it from me. On the other hand, I think I'm just going to be most likely to look for yummies that are worth having. Is it worth grabbing a 20% share of green if I can afford that? That would be 210 bucks. I don't have the cash. That's a big danger because all the permanent trains could end up on brown. Can brown use them? Maybe not as valuable as green, but it might be worth, you know, creating one hell of a monster company instead of having 2. So there would definitely be risk involved in that. You know, there's just so much danger in picking up a 20% share. I certainly don't want to pick up any of these 20% shares. Only green
is kind of possibly safe. And I don't have enough cash for that. So I'll look for two other shares that are likely to make big money, and purple and red. Well, I got a red already. Purple looks like a good promising choice, and it's cheap as hell. Wow. But would it be worth buying a 20% share of purple? That might be safe. The reason being, red's got a big train on it. Purple's going to make good money. Red's going to make good money. But I don't know that they'd make great money with two 3Ds on them. That's the big question here. So, and again, I don't think I'm in the, I know that I'm not in the running right now. So it might be worth taking that chance. Would red be interested in having two big trains on them? Some danger there. There is some danger there, because I could run boink, 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 or boink or whatever. Well, no, not boink. Well, maybe. Yeah. Maybe I could run boink, 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 and then boink, boink, boinkity boink out. So red might be able to get one hell of a company running if they bought both their shares. So there's some definite risk to holding 20% of purple. I don't know whether I'm willing to take that on. Odd. Nah, I'm not willing to take that risk on. So yeah, let me look for. I have a green already. Don't want a second one particularly. Yeah, it's gonna be hard finding another share that I want to buy. Buying that purple, and you can see I bought a purple and a pink. By not buying that 20% purple, the second player was able to fill out their 60% in both red and purple. And they have a little bit of money left. Unlikely they'll be able to buy anything with it. They can't buy another purple, and that's the only thing cheap enough. But yeah, this is a good situation to be in. Still probably won't sell anything out because somebody's got to hold 20% of one of my companies for that to happen. Also fills out his holdings with his own shares, grabs his 20% shares. Is that necessarily the best thing he can do? Well, he has a share of everything that has a big train on it currently. Yeah, and green also, yeah. So he's got a share of everything that's yummy, and I think his portfolio's full. He can pass after this. This guy picked up his 60% in green, holding off on doing that to brown, and picked up a purple share. And again, he's pretty much filled out. I can't see. The only exchange he could make is he could get rid of a blue, but there's nothing clearly worth buying for that. And then next time, I'll have enough money to buy that 20% share of brown, maybe. I mean, I certainly had the cash this time to do it before. Let's go back around and see what we got. We got no money, a pretty good portfolio. We'll say he passes. I think that's the case for everyone. So we'll just arrange who has the most no money. 66 here, 50, yeah, so 1 goes here. Looks like 2 goes down here. 3 over here and 4 stays there. And that is all for the stock round. So we'll be starting another operating round. And, you know, I mean, everything's very stable here. What would have happened? Let's say he buys his 20% share of purple. Well, that throws things into this weird and interesting position where this guy has to make a decision. Is he going to play? You know, how's he going to play for it? What would that affect with his stock purchases? Obviously, he wouldn't buy the extra 20% of purple. He might buy a 10% share. He might buy 2 10% shares to fill out. Yeah, I have enough money I could buy a purple. That's it. And this guy has enough money he could buy a purple, but his certificate limit's filled. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're all done, and nothing's. I think we're at a stasis position in the game. Some people might shift a few stocks if the game goes beyond this set of operating rounds, which I think is very likely, which means the 10 train will probably come out. Okay, I'll send this one up. Sorry for the state of confusion based on being not completely aware of what I was doing and having to go into more detail.